Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Lotus Blossom Dolls here, and today we are going to be filming a body repair video. So as you can see, this Kirsten's body seam is splitting. We are going to take her apart and we are going to be fixing this body seam. So if you are interested in seeing that, keep watching and we're going to start that process in just a few moments. Alright, so I'm back. I have taken the body apart. I untied the neck string up here. I unstuffed her, and now we're going to get started on repairing the body. So we're going to pop her limbs off so it's a little easier, and then we're going to turn her as much as I can inside out to sew this back together. So let's get started. Alright, so I have taken apart all of her limbs. I've taken the little cups out. I have thrown away the little extra bits of elastic from the inside that we're going to be replacing. And now we're going to start repairing the body. So this hole isn't too bad, and I don't have to sew inside the cups. If you do have to sew inside the cups, you can fix that. It is just a lot more of a process to do. We're going to see, because this neck is reinforced, I don't know if I'll be able to easily do this. But yeah, so let's look at what we're working with. You want to sew from the inside. So this doesn't look too bad. So this is what we're working with. What you're gonna do is you're gonna pin it. I would start up at the cup here, and then you're gonna sew down and reconnect it to where it previously was, and then I would reinforce where I would overlap with some stitches and I would reinforce where you're leaving it. So I'm going to be hand sewing this, so I will grab all of my needle and thread and I will show you how to do this. Alright, so I grabbed my thread. I just have some white thread and my little needle folder from when I was in middle school and I was learning how to sew. And I'm going to take this little piece of thread, we're going to take a needle, and we're going to get started. If you are new to sewing, this process might be a little trickier, but I promise it's not too terrible. When I eventually find a doll that needs the little cups resewn, I will do a tutorial on that as well. That is doable. It is just a little bit challenging, mainly because it kind of rips your hands up when you're doing it. So I am going to tie a little knot. I'm going to cut the excess thread off if these scissors will let me. And we're going to start sewing the inside of the cup. You really want to make sure that you get both pieces of fabric aligned and pulled sort of tight to each other. I would love to be able to get this all the way inside out. So I'll just make this process so much easier. Okay. If I took the cup out, I could sew this on my sewing machine, but for how small of a tear this is, I don't really think it's necessary. So I'm going to start up by the cup. I'm going to get it as close to the cup as I can, and I'm just going to reinforce this spot a couple times and go sort of back and forth here. I'm trying to vary up the stitch a little bit so that I'm not pulling all of my fabric through the one singular spot. Something like that. This isn't going to be the prettiest repair because we're not using a sewing machine, but it will be very durable, which is what I'm after, so that the doll is still functional. And what I'm going to do, if I can stop bumping the camera, is I'm going to, normally I would do this a little differently, but I'm going to go back and forth all the way down without doubling over myself, and then I'm going to backtrack and do the same thing. I'm keeping the stitch length really, really small because there's going to be a lot of pressure against the stitches once the stuffing is put back in. So you want it to be kind of tight so that it is a little bit more durable. And as I said earlier, you definitely want to go over where the stitching was previously on the doll so that you can sort of lock in what's left of the stitches that were there. I'm mostly just trying to keep my line even with the line that was already there, because if you are unable to keep it even with the line that was already there, when you turn it right side out, the body might look a little bit lumpy from the front. So as I said, I'm going over the existing stitches, pull that little bit of fuzz out, and I might just do one more right about there. So I'm about halfway down the body now, maybe a little bit less, but I stopped here, and I'm going to go over this singular spot a couple times just to sort of reinforce so that the thread underneath from the previous unraveling doesn't continue to unravel down the doll. So I've got that stitch locked in. Now I'm going to follow back up the line that I made where I go back into the stitch that I had previously made. So now I've got what looks like 3 stitches in a row. So I did that one. Now we're going to go back in here. And then we're going to go back in here. And I'm basically just finishing up the chain that I started from the other side. This process is a little bit tedious, but it is very worth it. And this is just how I do this. If you have another way that you like to do this, that is amazing. If you have any suggestions, you can leave them down in the comments. This is just the way that's worked for me, and I have found it to be helpful, so I like to share what I have learned and what I do with y'all. But if you have something you prefer or like doing better, please by all means do it that way. As I said, if you were to take the doll all the way apart, including the little plastic cups, you could sew this on a sewing machine, but my sewing machine is not industrial enough to sew anywhere near close to this cup, so I'm not going to do that. Looks like we're almost done with this step. If your doll did not need to be restrung when you are resewing the body and you wanted to leave the limbs on, you definitely could. You would just have to sort of try to pull the fabric through the neck hole, and you might want to pin it in that case because you'd have to try to keep it tight while you're working on it, which can be a little tricky. But you could leave the limbs attached and still do this. I just like taking the limbs off, and I needed to take the limbs off this doll anyway for something else because her strings were terrible and needed to be redone anyway. But that is entirely a personal preference. You do not have to take the limbs all the way off to do this. If you want to see the entire doll restoration, I am going to be posting that whole process as a video as well, so you can check that out. I will link it down in the comments as well. Alright, so that is all repaired. That's kind of the ugly side. This is the prettier side. And when we turn her back right side out, I can get this loose thread out. It's like it never happened. Ta-da! Alright, so that is the body all fixed. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see any other tutorials, I'm going to be building a tutorial playlist so that you can easily find these quick little videos. So here are all the pieces finished. I'm gonna restuff her body. I'm gonna pop her head back on, and then we're gonna get her dressed. But she's looking pretty ding cute. And I'm excited to show you the reveal. So I'm gonna stuff her body back, and then I'll show you how to reattach her head. Alright, so her body's all stuffed. I used the entire bag. It honestly probably could have used a little bit more even than what she had. She probably lost stuffing from having that tear in her body at some point. So now we're gonna pop her head back on. This process is quite easy if you've got neck strings instead of the zip tie. So I like to get it kind of forward on the fabric, and then I like to pull with the back. It's a little bit easier. Oops. If you do a single crisscross to pull. Alright, so we got her retied, nice and tight, looks good. She's looking cute. Now we're gonna get her dressed. I did take the entire pile of clothes that she came with, and I did wash them all because they were all pretty, dirty. And this outfit was actually probably the dirtiest, so this was probably the outfit that this doll lived in the most as she was being played with. This one has the same construction as my earlier edition Kirsten's outfit, so she definitely has transitional pieces. The owner who sold her to me said that she is from 1992, which makes sense because she has some of the features of being transitional. She didn't come with all of her pieces, and she didn't come with any of her shoes for any of the outfits that she had, which is unfortunate. But she's still going to be really cute, and I'm sure she will still be able to bring someone a lot of joy to play with. Oh, I actually have her bloomers somewhere too. I gotta go dig those out. I'm gonna go grab her bloomers. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. So here she is. I grabbed her bloomers, which she did have. So the only thing she's really missing are her accessories and her boots and her hair ribbons. So this is how she turned out. Her eye isn't perfect, but it is a lot better than it was, and it's pretty good. I definitely did better on my white body Kirsten. I think I was just getting a little bit burned out by the end of this project. It took me a really long time to work on her, but I just hope that this gives y'all inspiration on fixing up and working on your own dolls, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I am planning on doing soon an American Girl Kirsten comparison video where I will show you all the different versions of Kirsten over time. So I've got an 86, an 89, a 92, a late 90s, I don't know what year she is, and then I have the 35th anniversary of Kirsten. So I think it'd be really fun to do a comparison of all of them so you can see the transitions and the changes over time. But with that, I think that's going to be the end of this video. I hope y'all enjoyed, and thanks so much for watching.